I think the main issues around ADHD is to try to make this illness visible to society. I think a lot of people don't believe in its existence. So therefore, if it's not in existence, they don't understand that there's a treatment for it, and they don't understand that there's a lot of support systems within society that can really make a great deal of difference to the person living with the illness and the family, and that this will have a long-ranging effect in the future.
Well, I think we have to have many more meetings like this. We have to have stakeholder meetings, and we all have to go back to our member states to publicise the situation. I'm a former clinician, perhaps a clinician full stop, and I saw the results of seeing adults who were not diagnosed with ADHD as children, and the kind of damage that was done to them and done to their minds as they reached adulthood. And one of my colleagues, Michael Fitzgerald, is the author of the report along with others. So I think that's the way we do it: advocacy and education.
I think there's a lot of support can be given to the children living with this disorder if people start to work together. It must be very challenging to any teacher to have a very disruptive person in the form, but it would be nice if they reached out to where there was help, which is with the clinical psychologists. It's about coming out of silos and pooling your expertise to help these children, because it's so worthwhile. A child that can be held in the system will get a better education, with a better chance in the workplace, a better chance at making family relationships and having families of their own. It's an illness which requires good investment, and it's I think teachers, psychologists, criminal justice all need to come together and help society face up to a challenge that could be considerably better managed. I think if only the schools could talk about this more, they have opportunities. There are parent days that they could raise some of these issues and how they could help. There'd be counsellors in the schools who would pick up and talk not just to the pupil who's displaying the behaviour, but to involve the families. Again, as I say, it's about really putting the child at the centre of what is on offer, involving them and bringing people together to help this child walk a very challenging path through society. I think it's very difficult for older people because, like anything in life, to be diagnosed with something later in life is always hard, and it usually, sadly, requires something quite major in their behaviour that brings in the help. I don't know, a great deal of driving offences or some criminal action or some display of temper. And then, of course, you've got all the stigma that goes with that. So the earlier diagnosis, to make an invisible illness visible, that's the way to go.
Well, I think at member state level we must begin to share research, to share information about how to deal with this situation. That's the way you actually begin to do what Mary is saying there, begin to share education. Some member states have very sophisticated support mechanisms for ADHD. It would be a good idea if we looked at that and began to reproduce them in all member states, because quite frankly it doesn't take a lot. It can take only a small amount of investment in this to make a big difference to individual children, to school teachers, to parents. But we need to take best practice on board from other countries, and that's one of the reasons we're here today.